Hi, Elja. Thank you very much for joining us. I'd like to start off a bit with your own story. So, can you tell us about your own personal relation with mitochondrial disease?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. Um, my personal story, I'm living in a very small village in the Netherlands, in the old post office, together with my husband. We have two grown up children. In my professional life, I have been a business consultant for a Swedish company. I'm a mitochondrial patient myself. I lost a brother years ago to mitochondrial disease. My other brother and my sister are affected by the disease also. And worst of all, our 25-year-old daughter has mitochondrial disease also. So it's not difficult to guess where my motivation comes from.
And that was actually my next question. How come you decided to start IMP? I guess that gives you a very big drive to do that.
Yes, there's a personal drive, but also at the time I was working for the mitochondrial subgroup within the Dutch neuromuscular disease organization. And I saw in other cases that it was very important for patients, especially with rare diseases, to be organized on an international level. If you look at clinicians and researchers and industry, for instance, they are all working on an international level together with colleagues from all over the world. And patient groups are still more active on a national level. And this is very difficult to connect with each other then. So I decided that there wasn't any international network for mitochondrial patient groups. So I decided to start one. And the ultimate idea is to join forces so that the smaller national groups become a very large and powerful group, and then the patient's voice can become stronger and louder.
So, your goal of IMP, it's great now that there is an international organization, and the goal is to make the voice for you all stronger. What means do you have to work towards that goal?
Well, yes, the goal is to make the patient's voice stronger, but in the end, of course, to improve the quality of life of mitochondrial patients. And the ultimate improvement of the quality of life, of course, is a cure. So everything we do is focused on smoothing the path towards a cure. So all we do actually is connect patient groups together, connect with researchers, connect with clinicians, connect with industry, and share information and inspire each other so that this pathway towards a cure becomes easier and you know um, uh, quicker. That's the ultimate goal.
It's a great work that you're doing, conducting, but which are the greatest challenges in your view for Mito patients today?
The biggest challenge for mitochondrial patients, in my view, is to live with a disease every day and still be able to enjoy life as much as possible. It's a very challenging balance because a disease never goes away. It is always there. It doesn't take a holiday. So you have to kind of find a balance between coping with the disease and enjoying the things in life.
Hmm. But as I've understood it, symptoms vary a lot between patients. Which would you say are the most significant ones?
The most significant, well, there's many, of course, as you say, but the most significant ones, I can only tell you in general because it differs from person to person. But in general, there's a top three. And number one is fatigue. So, this terrible exhaustion, this terrible lack of energy. In other words, our batteries are always low and they are not easy to charge. Um, and that's a metaphor I sometimes use. Number two is a lack of strength, especially in the muscles. And number three is chronic pain in general,
Chronic
but there
pain.
are many, many symptoms. And that is why research into mitochondrial disease is so difficult.
It's interesting that you lift up pain. As I understand it, you've worked a lot to have chronic pain as accepted as a symptom. Is that right?
Yes, we did. We noticed that patients, if you talk to patients, they always mention chronic pains as a big part of their daily life with the disease. But we also noticed that not much attention was paid to it by the treating clinicians. So we asked a well-known research institute at the University of Mannheim in Germany to carry out a study into chronic pain with mitochondrial patients. And it turned out that 89%, so a vast majority, suffers from chronic pains always, every day. And we asked them to write a scientific article about that, and it was published in one of the most important international magazines. So we hope that the chronic pain as a neglected symptom really is becoming more and more known in the medical world and more accepted. And we are now thinking about the next steps to have it even more accepted in the clinical settings.
That is actually a horrible figure. 89% of Mito patients in chronic
Yeah,
pain.
yeah.
That's awful.
Yes, and
Um,
it's especially horrible because you have to understand that pain takes away a lot of energy, and we don't have energy to spare. So that's extra horrible.
that is horrible. But now we're actually in the middle of International World Mitochondrial Disease Week. So if there is some energy for that, I hope. What would you say is the most important thing with this week?
Well, the whole week is about awareness that there is a disease such as mitochondrial disease. So, in many countries in the world, not only the ones in within IMP, but also other countries, activities are organized to create this awareness and hopefully also to gather some donations for funding research, which is so necessary. And the activities are kind of organized by the national patient groups. But one really very global activity is the Lights Up for Mito campaign, meaning that important landmarks such as the Colosseum in Rome is lighted in green light for 24 hours, and pictures are taken from it, of it, and these pictures are shared on the internet through the social media, and they become trending. That's a very important activity. But it's all about awareness and finding funds.
That lighting up with green is a very powerful campaign. I thank you very much, Elja, for being with us today and wish you good luck in your future work.
You're welcome and good luck with the Information Day in the Awareness Week.
Thank you.